Hello, and welcome to Sideways. This week's episode, recorded before we were locked down and self-isolating, is about other things we can find ourselves addicted to, like daytime TV, which Martin has been watching extensively under the thin guise of research. And if you're worried about not going on holiday anytime soon, we're bringing the warmth to you. Sunbeds.
Yeah. You're just testing it out then?
I'm testing it out.
See, they look about right.
They look about right, don't they? Oh, that's peaky,
right.
Isn't it? Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders. I never watched that.
No, it's too popular.
Well, I thought that's exactly what I was going to say. The Stranger, I expect you give that a swerve.
The Stranger?
Yeah.
What's that?
There's a thing on Netflix.
Oh,
it was very popular.
Yeah.
I suspect. Oh, hello, Daisy. Yes. Yeah, Daisy noise. You come to see what's going on.
Why are you making a fuss? I think she wants you to stroke her.
Oh, Daisy. Yes.
Yeah. So, you've forgotten to bring a pencil.
Or a pen. Yeah, I have. I can't mark.
How are you feeling about that?
A bit. Well, I don't
anxious?
Like it. Yeah, I'm anxious because I like to cross bits off as I go through my notes.
What? So this pencil, would that be any good to you?
That'd be very good. I promise I won't tap.
Yeah, I bet you do. Go on, there's a tap.
I'll try not to. How about that? It's got a rubber end. Look, it's got a silencer. The rubber is a silencer.
But it's one of those. It's not very good rubber. You know, we were talking about dreams last week.
Yes.
I had a dream last night.
No way.
So you can work this one out.
Good one. Go on.
Well, I'd gone out for dinner with a guy I used to work for when I was in the corporate world.
Yeah.
We were celebrating the end of my 37-year career. I don't know why there was just me and him. It's quite a poor turnout, really.
Well, I hope you didn't have any drink. I
don't think I was drinking. I certainly don't remember. I certainly don't remember being drunk.
No.
But anyway, when we got back, I went back to the car park where I'd left my computer with a disreputable courier to find that my computer had been stolen from their van.
All right, okay.
And when I queried it with them, they referred me to the terms and conditions which said all items are left at owner's own risk. At which point I threw some ice over the man and woke up.
Did you? I can't. I mean, you're the man who can interpret these things. I've got no idea. I just think you're a bit weird, man. I think you had some cheese before you went to bed, didn't you? That's the old wives' saying.
That probably was. That probably was it. What I took from it was not to leave my computer with disreputable couriers.
Well, I think that's. I think it's very wise. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. I don't know why you got me onto dreams.
I don't know.
What are we talking about this week?
Well, I wanted to talk to you about. Sunbeds. Yeah, I know. You probably didn't expect me to have sort of an episode already entitled Sunbeds, did you?
Sunbeds.
Do you know what my angle is on this one?
I've got absolutely no idea, my first thought is how much material you're going to have on Sunbeds, but knowing you, it's probably extensive.
Well, I've got some bits and pieces here, and I'm sure you can fill in any gaps as necessary. I mean, it just sparked off because I was watching a bit of daytime TV the other day.
Oh, dear. Yeah. Is that something you want to talk about?
Well, I had a day off from work, but I was still being productive.
Well, it sounds like it, watching daytime television.
Well, it was on in the background, you know what I mean, and I was getting notes ready for a few more of these episodes.
Okay, right.
I was applying for a bit of funding for the charity, that sort of thing. So, so don't judge me on this. But I started to watch a bit of the Jeremy Vine show. Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Never seen it.
I'm not a big fan, but it was all right. Now there's sort of a panel of guests on there, and they were talking about sunbeds,
right?
And should they be made illegal like they are in Brazil and Australia? Yeah, it's very
You mean tanning salons?
Yeah,
not sunbeds on a beach.
Oh no, they're not really sunbeds, are they? Well, they're beds you lay on in the sun, I suppose.
What's the difference?
I don't really know, but these are the UV ones. You don't get pedantic. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So the ones in the tanning salons, yes.
Right. Okay.
And the panel of people there were people talking about it and saying how bad it was. And there was one girl on there who described them as being highly addictive.
Addictive?
Yeah. No, okay. Now, I started to get... You're going to have to talk to me, I think, because I started to get a bit angry at this point.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can see you getting angry about that.
I started to get sort of all evangelical and almost protective. I was irrational, but I was sort of protective about being a proper addict. That's not right, is it? I mean, you're going to have to talk some sense into me. That doesn't seem right. But what was going through my mind at that point was thinking, oh, well, describe them as addictive. What are the withdrawal symptoms?
Yeah.
Do you lose your marriage and your business and your relationships and your driving license? do you look at a bit brown?
Sunbedding.
Yeah. Having a nice tan, but pull you over by the police, and that's it. License gone. And all these things. And do they have support groups for this?
They probably do. I bet you could find a support forum for.
You probably can in the US, I'd imagine, because they have support groups for anything over there. But I doubt sunbed addiction has really crept into the mainstream over here.
I imagine. I expect you've thought of this anyway, but I imagine the reason that it sparks such anger in you is because it's kind of diminishing the value of what it is to be an addict and in recovery. It's slightly. I can't think of the word.
Well, I'll tell you what, because you've gone on nicely. My notes here, the very next line was that I see this, or I see anything like this as undervaluing the devastating condition of addiction.
Yeah, it sort of trivialises it. That was the word I was looking for.
Yeah, it's probably a better word than I've used, actually, but I'll let you have that one.
Yeah, thanks. Well, seeing as last week I couldn't remember the word...
you can't remember it now, can you? No, nor can I. But it was
whichever word I couldn't remember last week, I still can't remember it.
No, it's funny though. But so I didn't like it. I didn't like it very much, and it sort of led me on to thinking about.
Did you consider phoning in?
I didn't actually. No, I should have done.
I'm Martin from Mason, and I'm incandescent with rage.
How dare you get me on the panel? I want to defend this position that I've got. But it's a bit like. It's a bit like when people put a holic on the end of everything.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, things
shopaholic,
and what's the other one which you'd think of straight away?
Sexaholic?
Well, no, I wasn't thinking of that, but chocoholic.
Oh, okay. Well, of course, you used to be that as well, didn't you, with a chocolate button?
I did, but look, the shopaholic and chocoholic. When you type those in, they don't get corrected. They are obviously part of everyday vernacular now. Mm. Does
that make you angry as well?
It does a little bit, to be honest. Yes, I'm feeling angry.
To calm you down.
I'm feeling angry today.
Yeah, I can tell.
And you're not much help, to be honest. You're not pouring any soothing oils. But
I'm letting you talk about your anger, which actually, in one sense, is soothing, isn't it?
Said like a true
therapist.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, but I'm starting to calm down now. Thanks. But do you know what they call? Now this is I don't like the aholic business, but there's a term that they use for people that are addicted to sunbeds.
It's not sunbedaholic.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. But it's a really nasty word, and I really don't like. I'm going to say it, but then we'll discuss it. But they call the people that are addicted to sunbeds. They call them tanorexics.
Oh no!
I know, it's awful, isn't it? I mean, I've seen the devastating effect of eating disorders of people coming into the groups, but to call people tanorexic. Now, I'd imagine that the people that do have eating disorders would be as irritated with that as I am about chocoholic and chocoholic.
Yeah, I mean, that is absolutely, that is disrespectful.
Yes, it is. It is, but when
tanorexic.
Yeah. I know, it's
terrible.
Good. But having said that, see, again, I looked that up because I thought I'd never heard of that before. And so I went online and I went onto Wikipedia to look at there's something on tanning dependence. Yeah, right. Yeah, and they use the word. I'll read it out what they put on there because I'll read it verbatim. Mm-hmm. And it says tanning dependence or tanorexia. So they'd use the word there. They're used to it. Is a syndrome where an individual appears to have.
It's a syndrome, is it?
Yeah, syndrome as well, where an individual appears to have a physical or psychological dependence on sunbathing. Yeah. Or the use of the ultraviolet, the UV tanning beds. Compulsive tanning may satisfy the definition of a behavioural addiction.
Yeah.
Okay. So I sort of started to calm down and thought, well, perhaps it is. There's something in that. Mm-hmm. Well, what do you think? Do you think that's?
Well, I mean, if you think about we've spoken about this before. If you think of addiction in its broadest sense, then. And you define it as a behaviour that feels compulsive that is having a detrimental impact on your life, then yes, I can see how sort of compulsive use of a sunbed could fall under that category, as could compulsive, any compulsive behaviour can have a destructive impact on your life, can't it?
It can. I mean, I think when I started to look into this further and I started to calm down about it a little bit, I found out that that people are still doing it, still going on the sunbeds, even when they know it's doing them harm. And
so even when you mean when it's doing them physical harm, when their bodies are
starting to suffering or showing signs of
wrinkling,
wrinkling, or as far as getting to to the skin cancer stage.
Right. Okay.
People are still going on there. So you're going to mess, and I thought that is very much like an addiction where you're doing it in spite of the risks, and in spite of the fact that it's not doing you any good.
Yeah, so you can be told, can't you, that your drinking is going to kill you.
Yes.
But that isn't going to be enough to stop you. And I think we spoke before about how even when someone's trying to give up something like smoking, it won't make any difference to them if they've known someone that's died of a smoking-related disease.
No, exactly. I mean, it didn't stop me picking up tobacco. I mean, both my parents smoked, and I'm sure that would have had a detrimental effect on them. And although they didn't die directly of smoking-related diseases, they died of cancers, which
are not helped.
No, they're not. Yeah. Exactly right. So that is exactly true. But again, when you're looking up about this tanorexia, in extreme instances, it can be seen as an indication of body dysmorphic disorder.
Oh. Okay.
So body dysmorphia,
perhaps that's why the phrase tanorexic was coined.
I think so. The more I looked into it, I got more of an understanding. Once I got back off my high horse, about it all, I was sort of happy with that. What I was discovering, that perhaps there was something in it, and perhaps I should be a little bit more understanding.
So perhaps you would. Do you think you'd welcome people into group?
I would like to, actually. I think that would be a good discussion point. Yeah. If someone came in with that particular disorder or syndrome, as we're calling it now, it'd be quite interesting to see how they felt. Because I'm sure now I've looked into it more that the similarities are remarkable.
Do you think, just in a kind of wider sense, then, do you think that people in recovery are protective of their status as recovering addicts?
Yeah, they are.
Go on, tell me a bit about that.
Well, it's something you become quite proud of.
Right. Your recovery.
Yes. Yeah, you do. You become quite protective of the other people in recovery as well. Yeah. It's a very strong bond, and it is something that I find that the longer I've stayed in recovery, I see it's a common trait. I see people come in, and after they've started to crack it, there's this real glow about them. And this is probably the first time for a very, very long time that they've started to feel their self-worth.
Do you think is there any downside to that? Do you think?
Well, you put me on the spot a bit, I suppose.
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
you have. Is there any downside? What? Anxious? Downside to recovery?
No, not downside to recovery. Tell you what was in my mind. What I was wondering was
you're going to have to drag this out of me.
Well, no, I was just. There might be nothing in this, but I was wondering whether. We've spoken before about how the bond in that community, in that recovery community, is very strong, and it's one of the things that actually makes recovering addicts quite suspicious of outsiders, if you like. Yeah. So, for instance, if someone comes in to talk to a group of recovering addicts that is not a recovering addict, it's quite difficult in some ways to be taken seriously, given credibility, isn't it?
It is.
And what I was wondering was whether the downside then is that it might in some way close your mind because you feel like the only people that understand you are other addicts.
Yeah, we do feel that. Yeah. We very much feel that. I see people, there's considerable disquiet if people come into the groups and say that they want to control their drinking. If they want to go back to social drinking, as it were, and it's part of the denial system. And so, certainly, if I'm running groups, I try to sort of downplay that a little bit and ask them to to listen to what people are saying and how that it seems like they are on the path, and they're a bit further behind on the path than the other people in the room that have gone to the point where it's started to destroy their lives. So it's quite interesting, but. I can see other people getting quite bristly about it.
Yeah, but if you look at it though from the other kind of end of the spectrum, it'd be quite feasible, wouldn't it, for me to say something as I'm not a recovering addict. I've never had an addiction problem, recognisable addiction problem. So it would be quite feasible for me to say something to someone in recovery, and for their response to me to be, Well, yeah, but you don't understand what it's like to be
I think
an addict.
Yes.
Which might, of course, be a very valid observation, but it might actually be dismissing something that would be very useful for them.
Yeah, it is dismissive. I mean, it's wrong to do that. And we do talk about that in groups as well, that it's nice sometimes to get another perspective. I think all the time you can become quite insular. And so having an outside perspective, which is why, from time to time people will come along to groups. The same as I went to other groups, like to Al-Anon and that sort of thing. I think to get another perspective, I think it's important.
Because there is a danger, isn't there, that that any group of people with such a strong connection can become a bit of an echo chamber.
Yeah, it can. Yes, I agree. I agree. And one of the downsides, I've just been thinking about downsides as we've been talking.
Yeah.
I think one of the downsides of having such a strong bond, and everyone sort of singing off the same hymn sheet, as it were, if we get a soldier down, as some people see it, if someone lapses or relapses, that can have a bit of a domino effect sometimes.
What you mean, it can bring everyone down a little bit?
Yeah, it can. You see people start to question their own resolve.
Yeah.
It particularly happens if people have done detox together. So there's a little group of people that have gone into detox together. The first few days they're all buzzing, and then someone relapses, and you can visibly see people, the rest of the group there, questioning their own strength and whether they can do it. Or some people might turn the other way and think, well, he or she has not managed that. I'm not going to fall into that category as well. I'll see why they've done it, sift through their mistakes, and hopefully that's going to help me as well.
Yeah, I mean that's a good attitude, isn't it? Because the one falls, all fall is an issue around. That's an issue with boundaries, isn't it? Emotional boundaries, kind of a misunderstanding of where you end and someone else begins. If you feel if you feel that in some way your sobriety is conditional upon everyone else being okay, then you've got an issue in terms of your own emotional independence.
Yeah, you have.
Which obviously is going to be a feature of recovery, particularly early on, isn't it? It
is, and we do see people that do start to worry about other people more than their own recovery, and it does have a detrimental effect. Yeah. So, I think we're quite experienced at picking up the signs of that now, and so we can sort of talk to people about that before it gets out of hand.
Yeah.
And it's not the issue that I think that it was a few years ago when the groups were just starting to get going, and we've had a lot of experience now, and it's nice to be able to call on that to help other people when they're in exactly that situation.
Have you veered away from your notes?
No, you veered me away from my notes. Did you see me looking back at them a little bit worriedly?
Yeah, which I always enjoy.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I've still got my pencil handy.
Where's my pencil?
Your
actually.
pencil. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to drag it back a little bit. Okay, now. I'm going to go back to the Sunbed thingy, because they found, again, looking up the statistics on that, we found it was found that people that are suffering from this anorexia also tended to suffer from anxiety disorders, such as OCDs and depressions and eating disorders as well.
Which figures, doesn't it? If it's thought to be some kind of body dysmorphia.
Yeah, it very much so. And I looked up, how do you deal with this? Again, if someone did come into groups and they had this particular condition, what would I say? But I think I'm probably more prepared now, because having done a little bit of research on this, the effective treatments that are available at the moment are like CBT, which I'm sure you'd agree is probably a good way forward with that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't work for everybody, but it's certainly what you'd be offered on the NHS.
Yes, it is.
With that sort of condition.
Yes, they also mentioned antidepressant medications.
Yeah, my view of antidepressants is they're fine as long as they're in conjunction with something else.
Yes, exactly.
Because if all you're doing is taking antidepressants, then all you're doing is addressing the symptom. You're not really doing anything to address the cause.
I agree. I'm not a big fan of just medicating problems away. I think it's got to
not these days.
Not these days.
You were a massive fan of it, weren't you?
I'm such a hypocrite, aren't I?
Some years.
Yeah, they're self-prescribed. I had to write out all my own prescriptions for that. They also mentioned hypnosis. And I know that's something you've been involved in the past. Yeah. Could you see hypnosis as being a potential advantage in this situation?
Well, in some sense. I mean, when you think about anxiety disorders, hypnosis can be very useful with anxiety because what it's fundamentally doing is it's creating a sense of greater tranquility and relaxation. It would depend very much on the individual and the aspects of the particular case as to whether it could really do anything much more than that. I mean, when we've spoken about hypnotherapy before, we've talked about how sometimes people reach out for hypnotherapy because they think it will do something for them.
Yeah.
That they will be stripped of the responsibility of having to change themselves because someone will, wave a watch in front of their eyes and suddenly they'll feel completely different. I can think of people that have said to me over the years, I've got a problem with drink and I want to be hypnotised to stop drinking. They don't really want to stop drinking, but they want to stop.
Yeah, yeah.
And, I always say, well, I can't do that because, hypnosis is only useful in terms of helping you to tap into the resources that you've got. They can help you make the changes you want, but no one can hypnotise you to do anything that you don't want to do.
It's all very interesting. I mean, did I put you on the spot a bit with hypnosis? Because
that's okay.
I was just trying to return the favour, really.
I don't mind.
No, you did quite well, to be honest. Yeah, you managed that.
Throw me another curveball.
But just taking it to another level, okay? Because
another level of Sunbeds.
I'm going a bit further with this.
Double deckers.
Not quite. But I'm on. This morning the programme that's on
with Philip Schofield and Holly Willoughby.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, again, when I was doing a bit of research, I found a clip from about a year ago when they were interviewing a couple, and they actually used tanning injections.
Oh.
Yeah. So rather than just relying upon, laying up under a sunbed and getting a tan, they were injecting themselves, and. Philip Schofield then did read out a press release from the NHS because this had been in the papers at the time, and saying that anyone that's doing this should stop immediately because there was insufficient research as to its safety. And the couple said, "Oh, okay, well perhaps we won't do that then." And I thought, well, that's not addiction in that case. That's not how addiction works.
Well, no, it isn't. But do you think they would not do it?
I don't know.
I suspect that was just lip service.
That's what was going through my mind. They were just saying it just for because they're in front of the TV cameras.
I mean, there's another connection, isn't there, between? Oh, I just noticed the counter there was at 666.
Was it?
Yeah. Oh dear. Perhaps I shouldn't say what I was going to say. There's another connection between. I can't call it tanorexia.
No.
Between this kind of addictive behaviour with tanning beds and alcoholism, isn't there? Which is, it's about changing yourself in a way that makes you feel as if you're more acceptable. Because that's why a lot of people drink, isn't it? To give themselves some confidence or to get away from some feelings they have about themselves that they don't want to feel. And if you're lying on a sunbed constantly, then presumably you're trying to make yourself look better than you do when you're pale and pasty like me.
Sure, yeah.
I've never been on a sunbed, as you can.
No, I'm sure you have. I know you're a big fan of staying in the shade during the summer as well, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
But
I'm available for private hauntings.
Well, I thought that once I've done my research on this, I had changed my mind from the start of thinking about this.
You were less angry.
I was less angry, and so I've learnt a lot about it. Really, I know about it now. But do you know what else I learnt from the Jeremy Vine show?
Go on.
I learnt that there was 4 different working titles for EastEnders before it started.
Really?
Yeah.
And what were they?
Oh, you want me to go through them with you?
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, there was 4. There was. We can discuss these if you like.
Well, if there's any mileage in it.
Round the Square was the first one.
I think I'd heard that one. Yeah. Round the Square. It's quite clever, isn't it? It's quite a bit of a play on. Play on words, but
East 8, so E8.
East what?
E8, East 8, which is.
No, I don't like that. That doesn't roll off the tongue.
It's the postcode for Hackney, so.
I know what it is.
London. No, this is the next one. London Pride. Now,
that's a beer.
Exactly. What does that conjure up? That's not good, is it?
That's disgraceful.
Yeah, and the last one was Square Dance, which
Square Dance.
I know. I think EastEnders.
It's like a Kaylee at a wedding. Goodness sake, you can't have that.
Not really.
They did the right thing.
They probably did the right thing in the end, but I suppose now poor old .com's retiring, isn't she? June Brown.
She's gone, isn't she?
She's gone. She's
gone.
Called it a day.
Yeah, I saw her at a gig once at Union Chapel.
Did you?
Yeah, I'd gone to see Jane Seabury and she was sitting having a cigarette and a beer.
She loves to smoke. She loves to smoke, June. Yeah.
Yeah. It would appear as if you've run out of material.
Well, that was the last bit for the Jeremy Vine show. That was tagged on in case. See that counter we've been watching there, where that hadn't gone up far enough.
I think that's fine.
Throwing a bit of EastEnders.
You watched a lot of daytime television that day, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yes.
Did you feel slightly dirty at the end of the day?
It was really raining hard outside all day long, and I thought I'd give myself permission.
Yeah, I find it really plays havoc with my emotional balance if I watch television during the day. I allow myself to at the weekend.
Yeah.
But if I put the television on during the day in the week, I feel as if I've done something terrible.
Yeah, well, normally
I should probably see a therapist.
I think you should sort yourself out, look in the mirror. But I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's not something I could do on a regular basis because I just felt like. I didn't feel I was wasting the day because I was writing notes and doing other things, but I can see that it could quite easily end up just being a total distraction. I could sit in front of that watching absolute rubbish and wasting away my life.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm at work most of the time.
Just thought you'd get that in, just in case. So we're done. Because I've got an appointment on the Sunbed at 7.
Have you? I'll give you a few tokens.
and I've got to make another cup of tea because I am, as you know, a teaholic.
Oh, yeah. Hey, here we go. Yeah. I'm having nothing to do with you now.
Okay. Good. See you next week.
Thanks, then.
Cheers.
Bye.
Sideways was created by Graham Landy and Martin Pankhurst. If you want to read more about our work, visit grahamlandywellbeing.co.uk/sideways-podcast. You can follow us on Twitter and you can email us to let us know what you think of the show. And finally, we want to thank you for listening and ask that if you've enjoyed what you've heard, that you spread the word. And for goodness sake, stay indoors. And we'll see you next week.
Oh, I'm walking on sunshine. Oh.